They say you never truly know someone until the mask slips. And sometimes, the mask doesn't slip. You just stumble upon the truth, by accident. My name is Julia. I've been married to Ryan for 7 years. We were that couple people envied, the laughter, the chemistry, the teamwork. Or so I thought. But the truth? It all began to unravel on a Wednesday morning. The day I found a folder that changed everything. Ryan always left in a hurry. Tie half done, toast in hand, quick kiss on the cheek. That day, he forgot his socks. I opened his sock drawer. And hidden beneath neatly folded pairs, was a manila envelope. Curiosity got the best of me. I opened it. Inside were divorce papers. Signed. Dated. But not by me. My heart dropped. I read the line again. Petitioner, Ryan Carter. Respondent, Julia Carter. What? I didn't confront him. Not yet. Instead, I watched. Closely. He started working late. He changed his phone password. He barely touched me anymore. My mind raced, was there someone else? But if he wanted out, why hadn't he told me? Why was he pretending everything was fine? That weekend, I followed him. He said he was heading to a client dinner. But I tailed his car and watched him pull up to an apartment complex. My breath hitched. A woman opened the door. She hugged him. Held him longer than necessary. I took pictures. Every instinct told me I was watching my marriage implode. But I needed answers. That night, I finally confronted him. I laid the pictures and the envelope on the table. Ryan, what is this? He stared at them. Silent. Then, tears. Not guilt. But pain. Her name's Emily, he whispered. She's my sister. Wait, what? She's in recovery. She's had a rough year. I've been helping her get back on her feet. He looked at the divorce papers. They were a draft, for you. From a lawyer. Months ago. Before I changed my mind. My world spun. You were going to leave me? I was lost, Jules. We were fighting every week. You were distant. I thought you didn't love me anymore. His voice cracked. But then something changed. You started making coffee for me again. Laughing at my dumb jokes. I fell in love with you again. I threw those papers in the drawer and forgot about them. I didn't know what to feel. Relief? That he hadn't cheated? Anger? That he almost left, without telling me? We sat in silence for hours. Eventually, we talked. Really talked. About the fights, the distance, the fear. We'd both almost lost something we hadn't even realized we still loved. It's been 6 months since that day. We started therapy. We rebuilt, slowly, painfully, but honestly. And sometimes, when I open his sock drawer, I see that manila envelope. He keeps it there as a reminder of how close we came to losing everything. Marriage isn't a fairy tale. It's a war fought with love. And sometimes, the scariest secrets aren't betrayals. They're the truths we're too afraid to face. When I found divorce papers in my husband's sock drawer, I thought my marriage was over. But the truth behind those papers was even more complicated. It wasn't another woman. It was a moment of fear. A moment he almost walked away, because we stopped trying. But even after the truth came out, things didn't magically get better. They got worse. Before they got real. For weeks after our confrontation, we lived in silence. We said we'd fix things. But neither of us knew how. The truth is, loving someone doesn't mean you know how to stay with them. He'd wake up early. Leave before I got out of bed. We'd exchange polite words. But no warmth. No touch. I started sleeping in the guest room. The space between us grew louder than any argument we ever had. One night, I woke up crying. And I didn't know why. Just this deep, aching sense of grief. For a marriage that wasn't dead, but wasn't alive either. We agreed to see a therapist. Her name was Clarice. Warm eyes. Sharp questions. In our second session, she asked, "What made you fall in love with each other?" We both went silent. Ryan looked down. I swallowed hard. Finally, I said, "He made me feel safe. Like, whatever storm I was in, he'd hold the umbrella." Ryan looked up. His voice cracked. "And she made me believe I was worth loving. Even when I didn't believe it myself." Clarice leaned in. "Then maybe, it's time to remind each other who you used to be." Clarice gave us homework. Write a letter to the person we married. Not the person we saw now, but who they were when we fell in love. It felt cheesy. Forced. But I did it. I wrote about the night we slow danced in our kitchen. How he made me laugh when I was late for work. How he always kissed me like it might be the last time. Ryan gave me his letter the next week. It read, "Dear Jules, I see you. Still. Even when you're tired, distant, guarded. I miss your fire. Your laugh. Your messy buns and midnight cereal bowls. I'm sorry I forgot to love you the way you needed." I cried. For the first time, not because I was broken, but because I felt seen. We didn't fix everything overnight. There were relapses. Fights. Nights where we both almost walked out. But we kept showing up. We started having Friday dinners again. Phones away. Just us. We laughed again. Not loud at first. Just little chuckles. We held hands walking to the car. Like teenagers pretending not to care, but holding on like it meant something. I started looking at him, really looking. And I saw a man who nearly lost everything. But stayed. One morning, I went back to the sock drawer. The manila envelope was still there. Same paper. Same signatures. But something felt different. I took it out, walked into the kitchen, and placed it on the table. He looked at me, confused. I said, "I think it's time to let this go." We burned it. Together. In the fireplace. The ashes curled like smoke from a dying fear. And in that moment, I knew we'd made it through. And in that moment, I knew we'd made it through something most people don't. Not betrayal. Not infidelity. But disconnection. And the slow decision to come back to each other. It's been a year since I found those papers. We're not perfect. But we're better. Stronger. More honest. We still go to therapy. We still argue. But now, we listen. And every Friday night, we dance in the kitchen again. I keep a new envelope in that sock drawer now. It has photos. Of us. Notes we write each other. Things we love. Things we've survived. We call it the stay file. Because every day, we still choose to stay. If you're married, and it feels like you're drifting, don't wait for a drawer full of secrets. Ask the hard questions. Speak the unspoken fears. Choose love when it's hardest. Because love isn't something you fall into once. It's something you wake up and rebuild. Again and again. Even if it starts with something as simple as finding the courage to open the drawer. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss what's next. Thanks for being here.